Hi, I'm Nancy Arenas, and I am the publisher of New Mexico Vegan Electronic Magazine, 1-2 Vegan Magazine, which is the only, I believe, kids magazine to support their compassionate choices. I'm also the founder of the Red and Green Veg Fest, and I host a podcast called Vegan Pulse, with casual conversations for people all over the world on how they became vegan and what their projects are. Now, the story is this. That some time ago when I was in college, I had a friend, Mike, who was vegan, and he would invite me to go to lunch, but I knew he would be bringing vegan lunches, so I would say, no, thank you, I'm not a rabbit. I have teeth of the canine kind, and I intend to use them. 8 years ago, he came to visit me here in New Mexico, and at the time I was proud because I had become vegetarian. And I said to Mike, hey Mike, I'm vegetarian, and he said, okay, that's better. And I was dumbfounded because I didn't understand why he wasn't happier than that. And he went to explain the suffering the animals go through. Right then and there, I decided to become vegan. It's 8 years and I haven't regretted a single moment. What I did lose was my fibromyalgia, my migraines, my bursitis, and the swelling of my joints. So I encourage everyone to try a plant-based food diet, a vegan diet, not only for the health and the environment, but also to end the cruelty to animals everywhere. Since I've been vegan, besides the health improvements to my body that I've experienced, especially energy, which I used to lack so much of, and mental fog, it has all cleared up, and I feel more vibrant and with this purpose of veganism. Also, I noticed that my compassion level has extended, and since it extended to other creatures rather than just humans, it has taken a whole new meaning, and I see things so differently. And it has helped me spiritually become a better centered person and a more understanding person. And I think that it has just increased my capability of love as well. When I went vegan, I used to be riddled with fibromyalgia. Now, if you don't know what fibromyalgia is, it means that my days would live with a chart from 1 to 10 on what pain level I was each day. And it usually was 7 and above. Since I went vegan, a month exactly after I went vegan, I no longer experienced my fibromyalgia. And when I woke up on that day, I looked around, I didn't know what was going on. I thought there was something wrong. My partner said, what's the matter, Nancy? Are you in a lot of pain? I'm like, I have no pain. So for 8 years, I've been pain-free from fibromyalgia. And that in itself is a great thing because that depletes your energy, physically, mentally, emotionally. So I am now more in the present. I don't have pain, and I can't believe I lived with pain for all those years when I could have been pain-free. It is one of the best things you could do. You could reverse some of your illnesses like I did. Or you can manage better, reduce your pain medication, whatever it is. I just think it is so important physically, health-wise. It is so important for the environment because I have a grandson, Adrian Paul. I want him to see a world where he can live that is abundant with wildlife and a breathable air and drinkable water. And that is not going to happen unless we start changing our ways. We can end the cruelty that we have inflicted on animals for so long. I don't know about you, I have dogs that I have adopted. But I also see the birds, and they all have language of their own. They all have feelings and emotions. I know because I've experienced them. I have seen them in pain, sadness, and in happiness when they're jumping all around for joy, or when they're sad and quivering from fear. Animals are sentient beings, and it's so important that we, for sure, right now, be the first generation to end this cruelty for all the animals. They are our distant sisters and brothers, in case you have forgotten. They are animals, and so are we. Try it for a month and let your body and your mind be the judge. I publish a magazine that has stories of other individuals who became vegan. And the reason why I think that's so important is so that everybody understands veganism and vegans are not a cult. They are everyday people, all shapes and sizes, all religions, all nationalities, and all ages. We are the world. We are vegan. And I do that through also class that I give, Cooking with Compassion, because my motto is cook with compassion and eat without violence. Food has become so much more to me now that I'm vegan. Before I wasn't so into food. I guess my body was already telling me that animal food was not for me. Once I became vegan and I've discovered all these different arrays of fruits and vegetables that I can now eat, and everything that I used to cook before I was vegan, I still cook now. And I go and do tabling, and I promote the Red and Green Veg Fest here in Albuquerque, where I bring in speakers, do cooking demos and things like that for people. One time I was at Jewish Community Center doing a tabling event for health, and I had brought some tofu scramble, and this young lady came over to me and she goes, "What is that?" And I said, "Tofu scramble." And she goes, "Oh, I don't like tofu scramble." I said, "Well, you don't have to have it. There's other stuff that you could try." And she goes, "But I want to try it." I'm like, "Okay, well, you could try it." And I said, "Well, you know, there's a garbage can right there. If you don't like it, you could just spit it out." So this was her face, and I wish I had a camera then at that time. She went, "This is delicious." And I said, "Thank you." So I encourage others by doing cooking demos, through publications, through my podcasts, and through tabling, and even holding protest signs when we need to. This is a dying planet. We are using all our resources. We are ending wildlife. We have pandemics going on, and those are going to continue, all because the universe, Mother Nature, is telling us it's time to make a change. And we need to listen. We can have a more peaceful, compassionate world for everyone, so that we could have a livable world for everyone. And so that animals finally get the reprieve they need, so that they can be who they are and love and live as they should. When I make a decision, nothing's really going to deter me. So the challenges were just getting vegan options wherever I was. Okay. My family, not really. Okay. They were like, the only thing that I did have a challenge was, like they're like, you're crazy. Like they're just because you. So I've had some challenges in becoming vegan. As I said, when I was in college, my friend Mike kind of invited me to become vegan, but because society, my family and colleagues had told me that eating animal flesh was the thing that was normal, I didn't want to change. 8 years ago, when Mike came back to the house, I was a little bit more mature and more open to step out of the box society put us in and think for myself. And then, once I was there, I was able to make up my own decision. And the first thing that happened was that I was kind of angry at first, because I was lied to. I was helping and condoning violence towards animals. Challenges in my day-to-day were something like vegan products. There were none 8 years ago here in Albuquerque. As a matter of fact, when I went to restaurants, they'd go, "What is vegan?" And I'd have to let them know what vegan is. And they'd go, "Well, we have nothing vegan." And I'd say, "Do you have rice? Is it made with any animal products?" "No." I said, "That's vegan." "Do you have beans?" And we go down the menu. So it was like an educational thing. So kind of madness that I had about that, I took it as an opportunity to educate others. So then I just wanted to, wherever I was, say vegan and have somebody ask me a question about it. But as the years went along and as more and more people started to hear the message, it has become easier. But of course, the biggest challenges at first was, first of all, not having a place to go to for information, not being able to find the products, not knowing exactly what was vegan or not, because even though you go to the store and there's a can that may say beans, if you look at the ingredients, they have all kinds of things in it that is not good for you. So I had to go ahead, read the label so it took me hours to go to the store because I'd have to read each can, each product and stuff like that. So I love it. So if you want me to buy it, put a V on it. Others might have challenges with their friends and family, but to tell you the truth, my family lets everyone each to its own. So I didn't have much of that. At work, there was a little bit, but not much, just a little bit of maybe saying things like bacon or, But other than that, really people let me be who I wanted to be and respected that. As a matter of fact, they said, I respect you, I wish I could. And then I would go on and say, well, you can. Now, the thing I could tell you about is that it affects me when I go and to an event and there's other people who are having animal flesh on their plates, and I see death and I see misery and my heart breaks. And I tell you that since I went vegan and researching more and more aspects of veganism, it breaks my heart, and sometimes I do have to take a minute and just cry and let it out. Because it does affect me, it hurts me. And when someone says a joke that they think it's funny, I might put up a front and a poker face, but really inside my heart, it makes me cry. Because I can't understand how if I tell you that something is causing pain and suffering to someone, whether it be human or non-human, why wouldn't you at least consider the possibility of changing? Why wouldn't you connect the two and just be against suffering? So that is a challenge when someone says, oh, I only have free range. And I have to say, well, do they end up on your plate? None of the animals are coming up in line and going, okay, cut my throat next because I want to be whatever you want it to be. So those things hurt, and I have to kind of put up a wall when I'm on there so that I don't want to get mad or angry at people, because I understand that everybody has their own path to veganism. I totally understand because I did it. I told my friend, here are my canines. So I totally understand that, but I don't understand if someone expresses that there is a living being that is suffering, why would you not care a little bit more about ending that or finding out more about that? So that still breaks my heart. Do I have any regrets about becoming vegan? I do. I have just one main regret, that I did not do it sooner, that I did not listen to Mike way back then, because I think I would have had a different path. I would have been a lot more compassionate throughout the years, and I think that it would have made a big difference health-wise to myself, and I wouldn't have had to experience all that pain that I did during the course of the years when I wasn't vegan. Everyone can get started by first looking into information, going to some websites like PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, Dr. Neil Bernard, and look at his papers and the information he has there. Look at nutritionalfacts.org, Dr. Michael Greger, who also has answers to questions you might have. But know the reason why you're going vegan. Are you doing it for the animals, for health, or for the environment? The why is very important. If we don't have a why, we can just come in and out of it. But basically, once you start, you will start to understand more and more. You'll want to read more and more, and your self, your inner self, your love, your compassion is going to start expanding. And then you'll understand the reason why veganism is an animal rights issue, but it's also a social justice issue. And people need to know this so that we can start ending the oppression that's happening, whether it is the workers at slaughterhouses, whether it is the animals, whether it's food deserts. It has so much to do with so many things that I consider it a social justice issue. And I think that we need to help each other, and the only way we can do that is by becoming vegan. So the favorite food I have that I like to eat is the one I'm making, the one I'm eating at that moment, because every time I sit down, my partner can hear me going, that tastes good, and he's going, did you do it again? And I'm like, I think so. And whether it be lasagna, whether it be rice and beans, whether it be quinoa and kale soup, or anything of that nature, or a burger or a hot dog, or a regular sandwich. They're all my favorite when I'm eating them, just like my dancing. The best dance is the one I'm dancing. So in order to make like a split pea with ham, change all the ingredients to be plant-based, vegan ones. And there are many different choices for vegan substitutes of ham, or burger, or hot dog, or cheese, which, you know, when I first started, some of them I didn't like, but then again, when I wasn't vegan, I didn't like some products either. So I suggest that you just try and try until you find one that you like. So in a given week, on a given day, in the morning I might have a tofu scramble, or I might have pancakes, or my favorite, pancake cake, or I might bake some muffins, bran muffins. So it all depends. For lunch, it could be anywhere from a vegan sandwich to a pasta dish, or to soup like kale and quinoa, which is very tasty. For dinner, it could be something like rice and green pigeon peas with a side of fried plantains and perhaps some calabacitas in a little pan-fried thing. Or it could be oriental, such as fried rice, or it could be Indian fare, meaning Eastern Indian fare, like vegetable korma. Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, Dr. Neil Bernard, and Dr. Michael Greger with nutritionalfacts.org. Those are really great sites for health information. Recently, I had the opportunity to interview Dr. Akhil Tehar. Has a great story of being a sort of proud meat-eating man. And also, you can check out my website, Heart and Soul Facebook page, or Cooking with Compassion, also on Facebook page, which has recipes. For resources, you could check out my electronic magazine, New Mexico Vegan. For kids, 1-2 Vegan, also an electronic magazine, both free. And also the website, sproutingcompassion.org. I think that all women should be vegan, for sure, on board right away, because the most used and the most tortured and the most exploited animals are the female animals. The cows for their milk, for their babies who are taken away. And as a mother, it would break my heart if someone tried to take away my baby. And rape is such an ugly word, and it doesn't matter whether you're in human form or animal form, rape is rape. It shouldn't happen to anyone. As a woman, a sister, a mother, again, a grandmother, I just think it is so important to understand how females need to stand up, because injustice to one, whether it's species, color, minority, is an injustice to everyone. If you label one, anyone can take that label and put it on something else or someone else and say it's okay and make it the norm. So let's clear that off, and women, join me. Sisterhood, let's be vegan. Women are really the heart of a home. And that's not just in human form, that's in animal form. So when you have, like the lioness, she's the one who hunts for the pride, right? You have the deer, when they have their fawns and they leave them behind, they hide them and they go out. And if they don't make it back because some hunter has shot them dead, those babies are left without being able to nurture, really sentenced to death as well. How would you like your mother taken away from you? How would you like your mother to go out to the store and never come back and wonder what happened and not know what to do? So it's very important that we understand and again emphasize how important women are. We are the heart of a family. We are the nurturers, the caretakers. And I'm not saying that men are not important, they are. But women are the more, let's say, feely kind of person, and the one that can perhaps mend things more in an easier fashion because there's not so much ego involved and there's just mothering. There's just caring for the most part in women. Because women are so powerful and they don't really know it. I mean, here they are, they're raising families. They are the ones in the home that lead the way. And again, I'm not saying men are not important, but it should be a kind of balanced thing. The family looks to the woman, the mother, to make those healthy decisions, to make those overall decisions that affect everyone. Because if the mama's happy, the papa's happy. So women are so important, and I wish you use your roles to further veganism, because I know we could do it. And if it has to do about food and you could make it so tasty, and if it tastes good, that's all that matters.